Hello everyone and welcome. This is Christine with Pattern Crafts, and today I'm going to be making a card using the LaLa Lands February 2020 card kit, and I'm also using some pattern paper from Scrapping for Less called Let's Talk Bees. First thing I'm going to do is stamp out the Be Happy Marcy stamp. I love all the Marcy stamps that come in these kits. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that out and then put it aside for a few minutes. I have found that when I stamp on this particular paper that I purchased for Copic Coloring, that I need a few extra minutes for that ink to sit and dry so that my ink or my alcohol inks don't smear. So we're going to go ahead and put her aside. I need to stamp or snip away my little hexagon dies here that came with the card kit. This card kit, I believe, comes in stamps only, dies only, or stamps and dies, and I do purchase the stamps and dies. So now that I have all that ready, I'm going to grab some pattern paper and then take that over to my Cuttlebug and trim that down. I know I wanted to use that beehive paper, which was really fun, as my main panel, and then the yellow on yellow chevron and black on black chevron pieces for the hexagon pieces. Now when I trimmed down my hexagon pieces, a couple of them, I knew were going to go over the edge, and I was like, that's okay because I'll just use them on the edge. And I decided to use them first because I was afraid that if I put them in my stash, I wouldn't use them. So I'm pretty confident I'll use my full piece ones. I'm not so confident on that, so I'm adding those to the card first so that they get used. So once I have my little hexagons in place, I go ahead and grab some ribbon from my stash because I am working really hard at using what I have for supplies and embellishments. Just going to go ahead and tie a knot up at the top. I did add some adhesive to the back to kind of hold the ribbon in place so it would stay where I wanted it. And once I have that knot done, I went ahead and trimmed off the excess. Now we can go ahead and color in Marcy. So for her skin colors, I'm starting off with a little bit of E04, and then I'm bringing in some E21. I'm kind of just using a dotting motion because I find that helps that kind of blend a little bit better without having a line. Then I'm bringing in the E11, sort of doing the same sort of technique, but also kind of pushing the ink more towards the middle of the face. This paper is just some cardstock that I bought at a local office supply store, so it's probably not necessarily the best. It does have a tendency sometimes to bleed, so I do have to be careful. I bought 2 huge reams of this, so I've gotten pretty used to how I need to color to accommodate the paper. So I think like when you have different papers, you have to kind of test out different ways to color so that it looks exactly the way you hoped it would. So that is all I'm doing for her skin, is the face and the arms. I decided on her legs I was going to make it look like tights. So for the yellow, for her bandana, the tights, and the stripes on her outfit, I'm using just 3 colors of yellow Copic markers. I'm using Y06, YR31, and Y11. The Y06 is a lot brighter than I thought it was going to be. At first I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted, but I actually am really happy with it once it was all done. So going ahead, adding the stripes. I'm sorry that when I colored her legs, she was out of screen. As soon as I noticed, I went ahead and moved her up a little. The camera on that sits above my table has sort of moved, and where I had it taped out for before to make sure I stayed in frame, I need to redo. So I'm adding the YR31 to the outside where it's going to be the darker area, bringing in the Y06 and then the Y11, and then I'm kind of going back in with that YR31 again to just add some more shading to those edges. I'm going to do the same thing with the dark grays, which I'm using for the black stripes for her little outfit. I'm using C7, C5, and C3. So again, just kind of going in with the darker color, then the middle color, and then the lightest color. Just kind of touching the lightest color at the end, just where that like highlight is going to be in the middle. I don't ever actually use the black marker for black spots in my images. I tend to use these darker grays. I tend to use only my black marker, which is the 100, for kind of going around the edges of images after they have been fussy cut. So on her little shoes, again, using the same gray markers on that top shoe there where she's kind of got it kicked up, I figured the lightest part would be the heel. So I went a little light there and dark down by the toe, and kind of did the opposite on the toe that's sort of on the ground. I did darker on the heel and lighter towards the top of the toes. Now for her hair. Now this is why you should not watch TV in color. The part of what I believe should have been the wings for her little bee outfit, I thought it was part of the hair, and once I realized it wasn't part of the hair, I'd already started coloring it. So we're just going with that today. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay. So for her hair, I am using E29, E39, and I think it's E15, but it could be E18. I'm sorry. I did not show it in the video. I just kind of got into a groove and just kind of didn't think about it. So I'm kind of using the E29, which is the darkest brown, using that where I think there's going to be darker areas of her hair. Then my medium color for this would be the E39. And then going back in, I think that's the E15. And then just filling in all the rest of the area with that lightest brown. Then she's pretty much done at this point. Just going to add a little bit of red to her lips and this B000 and to the whites of the eye, and then we're going to take her to the scan and cut and have her trimmed out. I was pleasantly surprised that the scan and cut out the words. So I wasn't planning on that, but they did. So we're going to add those to the card. First, we're going to pop up the image here on some foam tape. And then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and pop her on the center of the card. One of the reasons I love LaLa Land stamps is the size of the image. They're great for practicing coloring, and they take up a good amount of space on a card, so you don't really have to do too much with them, and I think they are absolutely adorable. And no card's complete without some sparkles, so we are adding some of the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, which is so far my favorite. I absolutely love it. Then I'm just going to add the Be Happy right up there in my partial black hexagon. And then this card we are going to consider done for today. So we'll bring it in just a little bit so you can get a little bit of a close-up. Thank you so very much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more and you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. But until next time, have a great day or night. Bye.